Avatar, The Last Airbender. Every deleted scene. I know some people consider Avatar as a cartoon, but you know what I'm saying is tomato, or whatever. About damn near the same or whatever. But we finna get into it.
Avatar was originally meant to be a completely different show in almost every single way. In the original pitch, the world seemed to be heavily inspired by Cowboy Bebop.
Okay,
Aang was half
futuristic.
robot.
Hold on. My man said Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop happens to be my old school favorite anime of all time. New school, of course, is Naruto. So I'm not gonna lie, if they really had a spin of doing like a Cowboy Bebop thing, I don't know, that might be fire.
Momo was full-on robot, and Appa, well, he was Naga. Aang was a bison herder, and the arrow on his head was...
Hold on. What was Appa? Appa looked like a dog. Hold on. I know I ain't tripping. Hold on. Go back.
Cowboy Bebop. Aang was half robot. Momo was full-on robot, and Appa, well, he was Naga. Aang was
Like Otter or Goddard from Invader Zim. That's basically what Momo was. And Appa, yeah,
a
looked like
bison
dog.
herder, and the arrow on his head wasn't a part
Sorry,
of
yeah.
the nomad culture. It was just something to help him bond with the herd of bison that he had. Now, of course, we all know what this concept would eventually evolve into. The creators would go on to draw from real-world cultures and inspirations to create the series Bible. And the series Bible laid down the groundwork for the show we all know and love. While the series Bible was the foundation of the show, if you look closely, it's still quite different in a lot of ways. Iroha trained Zuko and working as a double agent for Ozai, the Avatar being the literal manifestation of the Earth in human form, Ozai fearing 16-year-old Zuko could surpass him in power. It's a lot of wild stuff. Eventually, Mike and Brian would team up with an incredible group of writers, and through their collaboration, they would carefully craft the Avatar series we all know today. So why am I telling you guys all this? One, because it's super interesting and makes a great hook for a video, but two, because I feel like this context deserves a place in today's video. And I feel like it's a great opener for what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Today, we are going to be talking about scenes that were intended to be a part of the final version of Avatar, but for one reason or another, never made the cut. Some of these changes are small, like Sokka's silly little dance, while others are huge, like a brutal character death, or even an entire...
Yo, don't tell me they giving Aang. Don't tell me they was meant to give Aang like a obliteration beerage type of move. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad they took that out, because that one go
episode. Let's
be
start
good
with
for
the unaired
Nickelodeon.
pilot because it's absolutely insane. This pilot has never aired on television and has even been removed from the official Avatar YouTube channel. Unlike most shows where the pilot becomes the first episode, Avatar's pilot was a little bit different. It was more of a proof of concept piece to help sell the series to Nickelodeon. Now you're gonna see as we talk about this unaired pilot that it's not a part of the official canon. You couldn't even try to justify it. It's full of all of these ideas and characterizations that never made it into the final version of the show, which is why I'm talking about it here in this video. The intro of the unaired pilot starts similar to the one you're familiar with, showing water, fire, earth, and airbenders. But this time, I think they're apparently meant to represent Aang's future masters. Water is an early design of Pakku. Earth is Toph. This was originally meant to be Toph.
Shout out to Toph, the hardest female fighter in Avatar, bro.
An older man. Brian credits the head writer of Avatar, Aaron.
I'm not gonna lie though, she probably can really rival Aang for real. Not gonna lie to you.
Ehas for creating the Toph that we eventually got. And
Just off her Airbender alone, I don't know. She cold, bro.
thank God for that.
And blind.
Because I could not imagine a 40-year-old man tagging along with Team Avatar. The Firebender is a little bit of a mystery. I don't even know who this could be. Maybe an early design for Zhang Zhang. And of course, we still have Aang there to represent air, as he's already mastered airbending and doesn't need a teacher. And also, he's the only one they could put there. Then we hear Kaya give a very long-winded explanation of the four nations and the Avatar. It really reminds me of that scene in Netflix's Avatar where Grand's explaining everything. It really feels like that. Once we dive into the pilot itself, it's clear that the characters are very different from how we know them today.
Oh yeah, by the way, yeah, that Netflix movie that they did of Avatar, beautiful. Now I know this one is a little bit subjective, but the Avatar that came in the movies, hear me out now. It was pretty decent. It was pretty decent. I know it. You probably mad. You probably hate it. I get it. But to me, it was pretty decent.
Okay. And before anyone critiques the pilot too harshly, because honestly, that's probably why the official channel had to delete it, remember, this pilot is the reason the final show turned out so great. It proved that the show could work, and it also showed what needed to be changed. Speaking of things that needed to be changed, we see in the pilot that Aang just isn't fun. He's painfully immature and kind of dumb. Sokka wasn't funny or sarcastic. He was just rude and humorless. Katara was okay. She was the same at heart, just really underdeveloped. Zuko starts attacking Team Avatar, and the sea serpent shows up mid-battle, and somehow Zuko kills it on his own. Now, in the series Bible we talked about earlier, it stated that Ozai feared Zuko could one day surpass him in power, and secretly ordered Iroh to teach him incorrect firebending. So this pilot moment of Zuko...
Oh, okay. Now, I'm not gonna lie. If they would have stuck with that, making that a canon plot in the Avatar that we have now, I'm not gonna lie, that would have been good development for real, for real.
Slaying the sea serpent kind of supports that. Later, surprise surprise, Sokka gets hunger and he goes off to find food, but he ends up getting captured by Zuko's crew. Katara and Aang try to come up with a rescue plan. Aang wants to go alone, but Katara stops him, telling Aang that he's too important to risk losing. In the final version of the show, Katara always wants Aang safe, but she also knows the world depends on him. Here, she kind of babies him. It's a little different. Now, I know a lot of you have probably seen the unaired pilot, so I'm not going to give you a boring play-by-play of the rest of the pilot. I'm gonna give you the highlights. Katara shows up alone, gets captured, Aang swoops in and saves the day. Boom, we're done. Just kidding. I do want to talk about a couple of weird things that happen in this fight between Zuko and Aang. Overall, I do like how it still feels like Avatar. At this point in production, they clearly already had a good grasp on how they wanted bending to look and feel. I also noticed how the outfits of the Fire Nation are much more Japanese looking in this pilot. You guys see this giant statue they're fighting
definitely.
on? I believe this is supposed to be Ozai. Well, at least an early design of Ozai, because in the series Bible, they talk about Zuko constructing a statue in his father's honor. Obviously, this wouldn't make the final version of the show for a few different reasons. For starters, Aang is traveling the world, so it doesn't make sense for Zuko to have a base on the land to return to. There's also no way he could build this anywhere but the Fire Nation, where he's not even allowed to be. And also, they didn't want to spoil Ozai's design. When Zuko and Aang fight, Aang gets cornered, so he casually jumps off the statue and enters the Avatar state. Yeah, he had full control over the Avatar state in the pilot, which is
that early? Yeah. I'm glad they rewrote that one. That's way too early for him to have Avatar state. No.
just insane, but...
And then to master it, oh no.
I also think it's kind of fun. At the end of the day, the pilot was used to show off to Nickelodeon why this show had a ton of potential. And I think the pilot does a really good job of that. Now let's start talking about the main continuity of Avatar. You know, the 62 episodes that aired from 2005 to 2008. Let's talk about all the deleted scenes from there. I had to do so much research for this portion of the video. This information was really hard to find. Now, this information was scattered all across the internet. I felt like Thanos trying to get the Infinity Stones. Some of this information was from super old interviews with Mike and Brian that they did on old...
Hey, shout out to him, because he put in the work to find all the information in the videos, because this man went to the far corners of Earth to get these, I'm pretty sure.
Deleted fan forms. Some of it was on Avatar Extras, which most people don't even know what that is. There's a few different things from old Comic-Cons where the footage looks like it was filmed on a potato. And you know, some of it was easy because, you know, people who worked on the show just decided to post storyboards. Season 2, Episode 1. You guys remember General Fong? He wanted Aang to master the Avatar state right away. To do this, he experimented on Aang in almost every way he could think of. But eventually, he had to resort to burying Katara alive in order to make Aang enter the Avatar state. Well, this scene was originally meant to go down extremely different. In the early drafts of the series, when General Fong buries Katara alive, Aang enters the Avatar state like he did, but this time it goes way darker. Aang loses control and he vaporizes him where he stands, completely.
I mean, that's a valid crash out. That's valid. That's valid. I mean, Qatar literally finna die. You know what I'm saying? So to unleash the Avatar state in that, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie, he got his wish and he got his death at the same time. Thank you, Lord.
Gone. No body to bury, nothing left, completely disintegrated. On the screen right now is some custom art I had made to
Like, what? He got what he asked for. Come on now. Come on.
visualize this scene. We all know Aang already had PTSD from the Avatar state, but could you imagine how much worse it would have been if he brutally killed someone in a way that left no trace? To me, it's fascinating to think how differently the story would have progressed if Aang would have killed someone like this. Let me know in the comment
Yeah,
section down
yeah.
below how you
If he would have killed somebody like this, bro, they would have easily put this on Toonami, bro. Like this would not be no Nickelodeon special, nothing, bro. This is straight Toonami, bro. Hello, Tom.
guys think this would have changed Aang's character going forward, what he would have gone through, would the season finale have changed? Let me know. I am so curious to know what you guys think. Season 2, episode 19. Later on in the same season, there was a much larger scene that was cut, but this time we have actual production storyboards for it. There's this strange Mandela effect when people talk about this scene being cut, because when anyone talks about it, they are flooded with comments claiming that this scene was actually in the show, but it's just not. These storyboards were uploaded by Giancarlo Volpe, who worked as a director on the series. This scene takes place in Season 2, Episode 19, when Aang is working with Guru Patik to unlock all of his chakras. In this scene, Aang was dreaming of a happier time, back when he was with Monk Gyatso at the Eastern Air Temple. Together they are flying on a bison, presumably Appa, but we don't know. They're circling around a class in session. Since this takes place at the Eastern Air Temple, the class and the instructor are all female. We don't really get to see many female airbenders in the show. Most of the flashbacks took place at the Southern Air Temple, so it's refreshing to see something like this. I absolutely love this shot of Appa flying by and all of the airbenders looking up at them, just amazed. The winds flowing in their hair, just really good vibes. But you know, good old Aang and Gyatso, they're up to their usual pranks. They shoot a bunch of fruit flies in the faces of the entire class. I love this detail of everyone using airbending to clean themselves off, showcasing how this is just a harmless prank and there's no actual harm done here. The storyboards end off with Aang and
That's
Gyatso
wholesome.
laughing together, flying off in the distance, but when Aang turns around to look at Gyatso, all he sees is his dead body, and everything fades to darkness. Avatar's lost episode, Escape from the Spirit World. During Aang's 3-week coma after Azula's lightning strike, he actually went through a whole spirit world journey. Now, it was debated on for years whether this was officially canon or not, but that debate has recently been solved because the Avatar Studios website officially confirmed it as canon, and they also officially dubbed it as Avatar's Lost Episode. In the spirit world, Aang must reconnect with his past lives, or the Avatar cycle will be over forever. Now, of course, Aang doesn't know this yet, so Princess Yue greets him and explains the gravity of the situation at hand. When Aang reconnects with his past lives, each Avatar offers him some guidance. Roku tells Aang about a time when he was trying to master the Avatar state himself, but due to his impatience, he tried to take a shortcut, which had massive repercussions. But luckily, they had a ruby? Yes, a ruby that calmed down an out-of-control Avatar. Roku teaches Aang that mastering the Avatar state requires patience, and in due time, he'll do it as well. When it comes to Avatar Kyoshi, she tells Aang about a peasant uprising in Ba Sing Se. The peasants in the city felt that the Earth King's role was outdated, and that he didn't represent their values or interest anymore, so they stormed to the upper ring. During this riot, they destroyed priceless artifacts and buildings, basically anything that represented the old government. In response to this, the Earth King summons Kyoshi for her help in ending this revolution. He tells Kyoshi that he wants her to stop the revolution at any cost necessary, basically giving his blessing to kill these people. But Kyoshi refuses. A power struggle emerges, the king sends his guard, and Kyoshi wipes them all out. She forces the Earth King to make a compromise. If he listens to the peasants' concerns, she will uphold the city's cultural heritage. To do this, Kyoshi forms the Dai Li, and we all know what happens to the Dai Li. They end up becoming the most corrupt thing in Avatar. By telling this story, Kyoshi teaches Aang that even if you think you're doing the right thing, our actions will always have an effect, good or bad. Avatar Kuruk tells Aang his life story. From a young age, he would travel the world challenging other elite benders to test his own strength. And you know, impressing others, it didn't hurt. Eventually, he meets the love of his life, Umi, and asks her to marry him. But on the night of their wedding, Ko the Face Stealer
Huh, babe? I'm recording.
takes her away. Aang informs Kuruk that Ko still has her and he runs off to go get her. I don't really know what the lesson here is, maybe just be careful. Yang Chen is by far the most interesting person Aang talked to here. They go through what Aang learned by meeting all of the other avatars. Aang says he learned that no avatar is perfect and they all struggle and made mistakes, just like him. But this realization has him wondering, why is the avatar a human in every life? Wouldn't it be better if it was an all-powerful spirit that never died? Yang Chen explains that it wouldn't be, because one of the most important aspects of being the avatar is also being human. Going through and experiencing anger, sadness, joy, happiness, and by feeling all of these emotions, you realize how valuable humans.
So basically, we're all avatars in our own world type of thing, basically. Okay. I mean, never really thought about it that way, but I'm glad they kind of tie that in with like real life.
Life is, and while you'll do anything to protect it. After this, Yang Chan tells Aang that even though he's restored his connections to his past lives, his avatar state has been disrupted and he won't be able to rely on it anymore. He'll need to rely on his friends for a while, and when he wakes up, everything he just went through will feel like a forgotten dream. Back in 2007, before the release of season 3 of Avatar: The Last Airbender, the co-creators Mike and Brian did an interview with the Avatar fan site avatarspirit.net. During this, they were asked a series of questions about the show. They were being a little coy about answering the lore questions. Like, what does this even mean, man? But they did actually talk about some of the deleted ideas they had for the 3rd season of Avatar. This whole thing went down because the interviewer asked them a question about Ozai and Ursa's marriage, to which Mike and Brian revealed that they had an arranged marriage and that arranged marriages are pretty common in the Fire Nation. Then the interviewer follows up by asking this: what about Zuko or Azula? Do they have any arrangements? To which Brian reveals that Azula was originally meant to have an arranged marriage too. Now, unfortunately, the interviewer didn't ask any more questions about this or push further. I do find it interesting that this was supposed to be in the same exact season where Azula alluded to getting married, although this would have been a cultural thing in another.
Hold on, she's supposed to get married?
Other way to explore Fire Nation culture. I can't help but feel that it'd be pretty creepy to see a 14-year-old have an arranged marriage, but also a part of me just can't help but wonder who it could have possibly been. We know the Fire Nation.
Yeah, I'm about to say, bro, yes, this definitely wasn't finna make it to Nickelodeon. Definitely not. 14? Arranged marriage? And she's crazy. But that is interesting though. Who would she actually marry? Like, come on now. Hold on. Let me tap the camera. I don't want it to go off.
Likes to do their marriages based on power, which is why Avatar Roku's granddaughter had an arranged marriage with Ozai. I guess they could just make someone up, but I don't know, man. The whole thing just feels kind of weird. While on the topic of Azula, now would be a good time to talk about the scrapped Azula's redemption plotline. And not just that, but an entire 4th season that was scrapped in favor of the 2010 live-action movie. This comes directly from,
like I said, I already talked about it earlier, but I did say, nah, this movie right here, you know what I'm saying?
The head writer of Avatar: The Last Airbender, Aaron Ehas. I always intended for
Good as hell.
to have a redemption arc in the story of Avatar: The Last Airbender, longer and far more complicated than Zuko's. She had not hit rock bottom in the end of season 3, she had further to go. At the deepest moment in her own abyss, she would have found Zuko. Despite it all, her brother Zuko would be there for her, believing in her, sticking by her, doing his best to understand and help her and hold her pain that she could no longer hold alone. Zuko, patient, forgiving, and unconditionally loving, all strengths he gained from Uncle Iroh. And that's how she would have gotten out and changed, with the faith and love of someone she had hurt, but who had stuck by her anyway, just as he had been saved by faith and love from someone he had hurt, but who had stuck by him. And I always imagined that after coming out of the other side, she would have been one of those people who hilariously overshares her own feelings all the time, and that she would have been a bit over apologetic, like a Canadian version of Azula. We don't know if Azula is going to be redeemed the way Aaron envisioned for season 4, but I'm fairly confident she will be redeemed. In Azula in the the Spirit Temple, she takes the necessary steps in order to start her redemption arc. The seeds have been planted for Azula's redemption arc for a while now, but who knows if they're ever going to grow. Who knows, maybe they touch upon it in the movie that's supposed to be releasing in 9 months. Searching for information on what would have been the 4th season of Avatar is pretty scarce. However, I did find this where Aaron talks about wanting to do a Ko the Face Stealer plotline for season 4.
So they're gonna make it. So they're gonna make season 4 a movie. Hold on, what? So hold on. I'm having a bit of a slow moment, but yeah, they just said basically season 4 was gonna be a movie, bro?
For maybe Azula's redemption arc and maybe a spirit plotline for Aang. I don't know how it all work out, but it sounds fun.
If they did, that's kind of cheating us in a way. I mean, you might as well just make a whole season.
Now that we've covered all of the easily accessible deleted scenes and ideas, we have to go.
It'd be
to
good
the
to see
deep,
her have
dark
some type of
abyss
redemption,
to
though.
find the rest. And that is 480p Comic-Con footage all the way back from 2010. Back in 2010 at Anime Expo during the Avatar panel, the hosts revealed some unused storyboards for season 3 of the show. These are mostly just comedic scenes that were removed, but it's still super cool to see this kind of stuff. During the Ember Island Players episode, there was a scene where Sokka and Suki sneak off together and come across the rehearsal room for the play. But they end up finding Sokka's play actor, and when they take a closer look, Sokka's play actor is making some moves on Aang's play actor. The next one would be when Zuko and Aang are showing off their dragon dance to the team. Now, this storyboard plays out beat for beat like the show, until this. Yep, Zuko burns everyone there alive. Obviously, this was meant to be a gag scene. I think they realized these type of gag jokes don't really work in a show like Avatar when these type of things are supposed to have severe consequences. Interestingly enough, this made it as far as to have voice acting. Sokka had a minor deleted scene as well. This takes place during the headband episode when everyone was in the cave dancing. This is a weird one because they created a soundtrack for this scene, but as far as I'm aware, they never animated it. I don't really know how far in the process you have to get a soundtrack for this scene. Like are there storyboards of this somewhere in the Nickelodeon archives just buried super deep, or maybe even full-on animation? As the name of the song suggests, Sokka would have been performing a scarf dance, and according to the wiki, it would have been all by himself. Could you imagine a 2-minute solo scarf dance with Sokka in this episode? Like, I don't think it would have fit very well, but it would have been interesting to see. Alright, that's it. That is every single deleted scene, idea, whatever, from the original Avatar The Last Airbender series. If you want more content like this, please leave a like and comment, and I will see you guys in a couple of days with, I think, some CinemaCon news. Hopefully a trailer for the new movie. We'll see.
Okay, yeah, that was every deleted scene from Avatar The Last Airbender, allegedly. I'm not gonna lie, they did some good key changes to the show, because if they put that in there, bro, who knows, the longevity of the show probably would not even been, it would have been short-lived, basically. Yeah, and then for Aang to do like a disintegrating type of move, like, no, bro, like, this would not be on Nickelodeon, bro. This would be straight on Toonami, Rated R, Superstar. Hey man, if y'all enjoyed the video, make sure you smash that like button, and you know what I'm saying, and we just gonna keep on going crazy, and we're gonna keep on dropping more bangers, you know what I'm saying. RFG fam, it's your boy Rel, and I'm out. Hey.